Hi, my name's Layl McDill, and I'm going to teach you how to make a kaleidoscope cane. We've made a lot of other canes throughout the online class, and now we're going to use the scraps and the same techniques that we used during those classes to make a really cool kaleidoscope. So, right now I've got things ready to make sort of some parts and pieces. I'm going to do the little stair stack that we did before to make sort of that variated cane. If you remember from the variated flower petals, so see how I'm stacking them up just like that. And I'm going to give them a little pull, get it nice and long. Already kind of long, had it sort of ready. So I'm cutting it in half, sliding it over. And whoops, if it breaks, you just put it back together. That's what I love about polymer clay. So I'm squeezing it and stretching it, but trying not to flatten it too much. Now a lot of times once something breaks, it's really hard to get it back together again. But it will eventually, because with this technique you just keep stacking it, and my little break gets caught right in there and it'll be just fine. So the whole idea of a kaleidoscope cane is to make a lot of parts and pieces that are all the same length. So as you can see, I've got all of these scraps laying around here. Some of them are just really short, some might be a little longer. When I do bigger canes I end up with more big pieces, but you might have just like some solid colored pieces, or just, you know, maybe some little tiny pieces. Everything will work. So this piece, I've already done this a couple of times here. Let's cut it one more time and put it together. And I could stop with that, or I could do it more times. I'll probably just do it that many times. But I need to get it pulled out. So what I want to do is choose one chunk that is the length that everything else will be. 3, 4, 5 inches is good. So that'll be my chunk. Maybe I'll cut off the ends just to see what it looks like. So I've got my little variation there. And now I'll make a little pin roll to go with it. So I've got these two pieces kind of ready to go. They're pretty much close to the same size as each other. The whole idea is having a rectangle when you're making your pin rolls, as you remember from the first class. And I'm just going to pinch the end and roll it up, just like a sleeping bag, as I say. So now I've got this little short piece, and I'm going to roll it out to make it as long as my longer piece I made. And stack them all together. So that's a little longer so that I can chop off the ends that are not quite as perfect. And I'll just randomly put things together. Now I'm going to kind of look through my pile. Let's see here. I've got this little piece, but of course it's not long enough, so I'm going to roll it out. And I can also start thinking about shapes. They don't all have to be cylindrical. I'm going to just cut off those ends. Maybe I'll use just a solid colored clay and flatten that out, warm it up, so I could make a flat sheet and have different shapes. But I've got to get it as long as everything else. That's the main goal. And there's just really no way that you can guess. I mean, you can sort of guess. The more you make, you guess. But it's a lot of being left up to chance. So let's see here. I guess sometimes I like to stick with sort of a color scheme. So maybe I've got lots of pinks and purples in this one. But I'm going to throw in a green just for some contrast. And this one's got a little black outline around it. So that'll really pop out. There. So I'm sort of shooting for a triangle, but it doesn't have to be. It's sort of a triangle shape here, so maybe I'll put another one there. But it doesn't have to be exactly a triangle, because you can pinch it into a triangle. This one might be my last one, but maybe I'll make this one different shape so it's not cylindrical. A little pinching. Just whatever you make the shape, make sure you make it all the way down the line, because that's the most important thing with cane making. And I'll stick that on there. Chop off extra. So now I've got a little clump, and I'll make it into more of a pointy triangle. And I just pinch it and turn it, and pinch it and turn it. So eventually, and it's always a good idea to give it a little more of a pull, make it a little longer. Now I'm going to cut it in half. So finding the middle there, looks like I hit it pretty close. And then when I open it up, I've got symmetrical designs. So you just keep going like that. And you can do any side you want. I'll just go with that. So now it's sort of diamond shaped. And I'm going to take one of these points that are on this side and lay that on the table and then press down so that I get sort of a right angle triangle. So I'm keeping those together. And I'm making it flat on this side and like a right angle right there. And I want to give it another little pull. And I'll cut it in half again. Hopefully that's close. There we go. So I just fold it open and you can see how you start to get that design. Now I could stop with that. I could make it into a circle if I wanted to, just kind of roll it into a circle. Or I could make it more square by setting it on one of these sides and pressing down, which is what I will do. And this could be my kaleidoscope, but I usually like to go even further. So what I'll do is I'll stretch this and I will take off a little piece of it. So I've got some that I could just use, you know, for maybe buttons or beads if I wanted to. And then I can take the rest of this and put it together 4 times to make a whole nother design. So let's see, I'll stretch it more. Now sometimes I make my kaleidoscopes pretty big because I want to use them kind of as fabric, clay fabric, when I make my larger sculptures. So I'm going to find the middle again. At this point I could cut off this end that's a little bit sloppy because everything's not quite going all the way through. And then I won't have that going through my whole cane. So, is that symmetrical? Yes, it is. Usually just opening it up will get you that good symmetry. And then I'll cut it one more time in the middle. I'm going to do that end again. Find the middle and just fold it together. Now, I could do it that way, or I could do it this way. And that looks pretty fun, I think, so I'll go with that. So, I could leave it big like this, especially to make some really fun big buttons, or I could keep reducing and get the whole thing small. Let me show you a couple other kaleidoscopes. You can see that you can make any design. They just really vary quite a bit. There's another one, and those are some kaleidoscope canes.